Today, I want to share an old English proverb and explain why it's just as true today as it was hundreds of years ago. The story is there was this messenger who had to deliver a very important message to the king about an impending enemy attack. And when he got on the horse, he noticed the horseshoe was missing a nail. But he felt that he was in such a hurry that he couldn't afford to get it fixed. Just like sometimes we put off making hard decisions, whether by choice or by influence. It all started with one missing nail. Without the nail, after a while, the horseshoe came off. Without the horseshoe, the horse was lost. Without the horse, the rider never made it to deliver the message. Without the message, the battle was lost, and in the end, the kingdom was lost. So, this is how it applies today. The lesson is simple. Small mistakes can lead to very big consequences. Let me give you a real life example. A friend of mine is building a guest house on his property, and he hired a general contractor. The contractor hired a plumber to install the underground utilities, the sewer line, roof drain lines, electrical conduits, domestic water lines, and the fire sprinkler main line. Unfortunately, the installation wasn't properly done. The sewer line was installed directly on top of the electrical conduits. Then, the drain line was installed on top of the sewer line, and in some places, it was even sloped the wrong direction. On top of that came the domestic water line and the fire sprinkler main line. Now, imagine that years from now, the sewer line needs to be repaired. It's literally trapped between electrical conduits, drain lines, domestic water line, and fire sprinkler pipes. Repairing one system will now create a real risk of damaging several others. But the story doesn't end there. While they were working, the crew shut off the water to the main house. And that's perfectly normal during construction. The problem was, they forgot to turn it back on. The house sat without water for several weeks. Normally, that wouldn't be a major issue, but this home has a high efficiency freezer refrigerator with an automatic ice maker. The ice maker kept trying to make ice, but without water pressure, only a small amount of water dripped into the fill funnel. That water froze in the funnel, creating a solid ice plug. Weeks later, when the homeowner came back to check on the project, he discovered there was no water in the house. Once the water was finally restored, the ice maker wasn't working correctly. Instead of making ice cubes, it produced only a sheet of ice in the ice cube tray. A repair technician was called. He activated the ice maker, saw the water coming out in the wrong places at the fill funnel, and naturally assumed the ice maker itself had failed, and he ordered a new replacement unit. When he returned to install the new one, I took the old unit to check it out. The first thing I noticed was the frozen blockage inside the fill funnel. I took it to the kitchen sink, melted the ice block, flashed water through it, and it worked perfectly. But at the moment, I couldn't make a determination if it was the ice releasing heating element that was affected, since the water funnel wasn't broken as the technician had diagnosed. Only after a while was I able to make that determination, but by then it was too late. The new unit had long been replaced, and the story might not be over yet. The house uses tankless water heater that are installed up in the attic. Since the water had been shut off for weeks, there is a good chance those units were empty. And if one of those heaters fires with the water inside, it can suffer severe, possibly catastrophic damage. This is exactly what the old proverb teaches us. One small oversight, a forgotten water valve, an ice blockage, a perfectly good appliance replaced, and potentially thousands of dollars in additional damage. That's why good construction is not just about getting the job done, it's about thinking ahead. Every decision affects the next one. Just like the missing nail, one small mistake can eventually cost an entire kingdom. And before anybody asks, I don't feel guilty about what happened. I had already warned my client about the shortcomings I had observed in the general contractor and plumber's work. Sometimes all you can do is point at the problem and hope someone listens.